that side.
Makes sense.
Yes.
You have to make the thing super basic though.
Which one?
The T or something. If you want it to actually post or protect, you have to make it basic.
Yes. So this is one of the reasons why people will drink the correct pronunciation of the product that I just described.
The T-Bag.
Yes. So people will drink that because it is a cough syrup. Like it's very like goopy and drippy, and it kind of coats everything down there. If you want to drink tea, that's fine. I put in a crap load of honey. You can ask my girlfriend. It's so like loaded with like honey that it is like goopy by the time I'm done. It's not very healthy for you, but it's delicious. Yes.
Do you have to watch what you eat before you go into recording something?
Yes. It depends on the person, believe it or not. I know some people who will take like a bunch of cheese and crackers and just shove it in their face and then go right into it and they sound fine. Other people, you have a little bit of dairy in your coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And like this. Like they sound super snappy and goofy and terrible. So like, I'll drink, for me personally, I drink a lot of coffee, but I make sure to drink it completely black so that there's no lactose
phlegm
or anything like that that might mess with my voice. But then in between breaks, I'll have crackers and stuff that I'm not supposed to. And then immediately shove a bunch of water. Also, very important is drinking a lot of water. You need to stay super hydrated at all times. I would probably go through about 2 or 3 full bottles of water in like most recording sessions to keep everything super lubricated, nice and clean sounding, so I don't. You get all that? This drives an audio engineer completely insane here. It drives them bonkers. So get rid of that. Lots and lots of water. Sometimes tea with honey can help with that. Sometimes it actually can hurt. So it's about you and experimenting and figuring out what works for each and every one of you as an individual. Yes.
I heard caffeine's not great for vocal cords with doing high vocal performance. You mentioned caffeine-free tea or?
Yeah, there are caffeine-free teas. One of the most popular teas that people use is called Throat Toast, which is very, very evident. Yeah, it has kind of a liquorice-y. Yeah. Yes, it helps you. It helps soothe the vocal cords, but what it actually does is numbs the pain. So it is actually not fixing anything; it's making you not feel pain. So, but there is that. So that's
it's
usually.
like marshmallow root and like echinacea. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Echinacea?
Echinacea or something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
echinacea?
Yeah.
That one.
Echinacea.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What's the opposite of this?
It's actually very sweet. Yeah, it doesn't taste gross. It's like people guzzle this stuff and they're like, yeah, I'm fine. So
it's not Robitussin.
no, but don't take actual like prescription like cough syrup that you get at the drugstore. That leads you down an addiction road, I think. So maybe stay away from any of that stuff. Yes.
What was the name of the cheap microphone again?
Oh sure. So there are a number of cheap options. The Audio Technica 2020. It'll just be AT2020. It's one of the cheapest USB microphones that you can get that actually sounds really good. A lot of people will get a Blue Yeti microphone, but some people are going to tell you, do not ever do that, and some people are going to be like, it's totally fine. Here's the deal. This is one of those situations where your recording environment really, really, really matters. The Blue Yeti is good, but it also picks up everything. So if you're recording in a room, you are going to know exactly the size of that room. And the interesting thing is, despite the fact that the Blue Yeti is cheap, this is also a problem with the really, really high-end, high-grade quality microphones, is that if you get, for instance, a Neumann microphone that set you back maybe $1,000 up to $3,000, or if you want to get like one of these super crazy ones, it's like 10 grand, but don't go anywhere near those. Those things, same problem, because it picks up every little aspect of your voice, which means it also can tell what kind of room you're in. So if you want to get a Blue Yeti, okay, I had one. I used one for about 5 years auditioning for professional projects, and it sounds good. That's because I also spent about $6,000 on a custom recording booth. So yeah, okay, I can pull off a Blue Yeti, but if you're just in a room, be careful with that. AT2020 is usually a better way to go. Yes.
You talk about the exposure.
Yes. Yes, so this is an audio interface.
Audio interface.
Yes. There's sometimes they're referred to as compressors. That's actually the compressor is part of the audio interface. But what it does is there are a number of different types that you can get, and they all range in quality. When you're first starting out, don't go insane. I got a Scarlett Solo, which is, there's also, I think it's the Scarlett 2i2, I believe is another one that's also very popular. Very high quality and not going to set you back a huge amount. It's a USB mixer, so it means it plugs into a USB port on any computer. Your XLR microphone plugs directly into that, and using that you can adjust the gain. When you're using a USB microphone, though, that microphone is just going to go right into your computer, so you're not going to have any kind of a board between the mic and the computer itself. So what you're going to have on that is probably there's going to be a gain control on the microphone. Gain control, by the way, is when you turn it all the way down, you can yell at the top of your lungs and not create a noise that sounds like it's that distortion, as you just heard, sounds terribly unpleasant. So it's instead of getting way far away from the microphone and yelling, you can stay at the same distance and it will still sound like a yell, but it won't make people's ears bleed. And that's going to be usually on the microphone itself. If it's a USB mic, it's going to go with a little knob that you twist and turn. The benefit of having an XLR microphone is that they tend to be a higher quality and they're a little bit more professional grade. Plus, if you ever want to upgrade your audio equipment, you don't have to go out and buy a brand new microphone every single time. You can if you want to, and now you just simply plug it into the exact same mixer that you had before, the same audio interface. So if I ever say, like, I'm tired of the microphone I want to go get that $10,000 microphone, which is a horrible idea, I'm going to get it, the same exact interface, I can plug it right into my Scarlett and use that. The super high-end audio mixers do make a difference, but this is, at this point, the quality that you're going to get back, honestly, you are probably not going to notice. This is something that a professional audio engineer will go, oh, you stepped up your game. Most of the time, any average person, yourself included, you're going to go, wow, it sounds exactly the way it was, and I just spent thousands of dollars, what have I done? So I would recommend saying something that is on the low end, but still high enough quality that you're going to get a good result out of that. But just keep in mind, audio interface means you need an XLR microphone, not a USB microphone. So don't get both. You're just going to have two completely different competing pieces of equipment, and it's kind of worthless. Yes?
If you have a USB mic, what about the tools that are built into some of the things on the computer? I'm talking like GarageBand and I guess ProLogic is the one up from there. And
okay, so these are called DAWs, D-A-W. It's a digital audio workspace.
Yeah.
That just means it's a recording program. I personally use Adobe Audition. That's what I use for all of my stuff because I like all of the different gadgets that they have in there to clean up the audio. But ultimately, what it's going to come down to is whatever you can do. A lot of people who are professionals use Audacity. Audacity is a great recording software, and a lot of people use it. It's definitely better than, like, say, a sound recorder on my computer. Like, I went into Microsoft Sound Recorder. GarageBand is not bad, but I believe that's a Mac program, and I'll be honest, I'm not familiar enough with Macs to give you a better recommendation, but I do know that Audacity is available for free for Macintosh.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it. Twisted Wave is another one I've heard quite a few people using. All you really need though for voiceover, if you're talking about recording, like, say, a symphony, this is a totally different need, but it's just your voice. Anything that can record your voice in a high enough quality, that's really all you need. And then it just depends on what you need to do. So if, for instance, if you're like, if you're somebody who has a lot of clicks in their voice, that sound, okay, you might need a program that will actually let you see those clicks and remove them by hand. Or if you want to go really crazy, you get something like Pro Tools, which is what they use in professional recording environments. Very, very expensive. You can have like an audio scrubbing option, where it's basically if you ever record something and you hear somebody go and they're doing a bunch of weird sounds with it, that's them scrubbing the audio to try to remove as many of those clicks as they possibly can. For basic, just I'm in my home and I'm recording something for myself, stick with stuff that is free and gives you enough options to help you. I would highly recommend Audacity for something like that.
But how is that comparing with, like you were mentioning, the hardware things? Because you can plug you can use a USB mic easily with all those software spaces.
That's true. And if you have a USB audio interface, it's the exact same thing. So for instance, on if I'm using my Scarlett Solo to record, in Adobe Audition, I select Scarlett Solo. This is my microphone, and whatever is plugged into it is going to get recorded. So it's going to be compatible with any kind of microphone you want. Any DAW will work. as long as it's something that has the options that you want. Yes?
You said the Pro Tool, actually they have a free version that is limited to 16 tracks, but then it's also fully compatible with the professional version, so you can like.
Which program is this?
Pro Tools.
Oh,
They
Pro
have
Tools.
free, entirely free 16 track version.
So there you go. So you can get free Pro Tools, and if you ever want to upgrade to like the high paid version, it's compatible.
Exactly, and
That's
you
cool.
know the interface and everything.
There you go.
Very efficient.
So there's plenty of options out there. It's all about whatever you feel works best for you. Yes.
So you said in the Q&A session, you can be in the booth for hours and hours and hours. Any tips for staying like comfortable and actually have like building up your endurance in the booth?
It just takes time to build up endurance in the booth. It is, a lot of actors sit. I'm a stander. I don't like sitting down to do voiceover work. It makes me feel like I wind up getting hunched over and I have like no energy. But if you're a stander, get ready to stand. There are times you'll wear comfy shoes. That's all I can say. Because it's weirdly tiring. Like I'll come home and I'm like, all I did was stand in a room. Like, yeah, but you were standing for 4 hours. And it's like if you ever stood in line for a long time, it's basically that. Just build up to it. That's all you gotta do. And take breaks. When you're not needed, sit down. Take a load off your feet. It's just a good idea. Just for general body health, I would say. Yes.
Are you doing Robin Williams in the booth, or are you a Peter Cullen, stand there and just
I'm a Robin Williams in the booth. Yeah, I like doing lots of energetic roles, and my body language tends to be very energetic. I find that there are people out there who will just like talk right into the microphone. They won't move at all, and they'll have these crazy animated performances. And then there are people out there who need to do all the physical stuff. I need to do all the physical stuff. So one of my things is when I show up to work, well, I'm dressed like this. I'm wearing a pair of just basic cargo pants and a softer shirt so that I don't make a lot of noise when I do this. There are people out there who will come in with a bunch of jewelry who don't do a lot of voice acting, and they'll do this, and you'll hear jingle, 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 all their bracelets jingling, and their rings bouncing all over the place, and their earrings smacking. And then somebody has to say, hey, I'm sorry, you got to take all that stuff off. So they have to disassemble their entire jewelry lineup. But that happens. So yeah, it's a good idea to be comfortable. If you show up to work feeling comfortable, you will probably just give a better performance anyway. You can get into character a little bit easier, I think. But there are people who show up wearing leather pants. Probably a bad idea too. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Speaking of getting into character, is there anything that you do? For me, when I'm voicing one character, it takes me about halfway through the recording until I actually jump into the voice. Is there anything that you do to like warm up or get into the voice ahead of time, or is that just something you can walk into?
I tend to walk in and do it. Usually in the professional industry, you'll get brought in to do a specific role, but while you're there, they'll be like, hey, we're also going to throw you man A and lizard person C. And so when you get with those types of roles, you have to go, all right, man A, oh, okay, he's a big hulking dude. All right, big hulking guy voice, big hulking guy attitude, go. Because they won't let you build into it. You just gotta have something up here already ready to go. Lizard person, oh, they probably have a weird raspy voice, something along these lines. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna incorporate that kind of body mechanic and have some idea. And then they'll probably say, that's too scratchy. Bring it up, bring it down, change this around. Actually, he's gonna have a Scottish accent. Can you do a Scottish accent? Of course I can do a Scottish accent. I can't do a Scottish accent. I can do a Scottish accent. And that's the idea. So you have to sort of roll with the punches. What'll help with that? Just basic practice. Just keep doing it over and over and over again. And eventually, you're going to build up a bunch of templates in your head about, oh, okay, this character's big. Here are all of the big voices I can do, and I can make some sort of modification to them as need be. And that's just an experience thing. That's all that is. Yes.
So, when you're voicing 2 or more characters for the same show or audition you're in, do you do that in completely separate sessions, or do you actually like to constantly switch back and forth in that same recording session, like developing yourself?
Sometimes it's both. It depends. There are actors out there like Billy West frequently throughout all of Futurama, completely talking to himself the whole time, switching from character to character to character, one after another. When I did Put In Kids Next Door back in the early 2000s, number 1 and number 2 having a conversation back and forth right next to each other. But there are also people who do the other way around. Maybe it might be just 2 voices that are so completely different from each other that they start bleeding into each other. You can hear the transition between the two roles. And so what they'll say is, you know what, we're gonna record all of this character, then we're gonna come back and record all of the other character. If the first character messed up your voice so much that you can't do the other character, then they will have you come back for another session to do the other character, but they're not gonna like that. And that's because now they have to pay you all over again for a second session. So the best thing you can do whenever you show up in one of these situations is tell them, hey, so who are you going to have them play, and what kind of voices are you guys expecting from this? And you can sort of strategically plan it out. So for instance, if I'm there for a 9 a.m. session, I know I'm gonna say, all right, give me all of the really gruff vocally stuff first, because that way I can just break in my voice by doing all this stuff. And then early afternoon, you have all the cute, smooth voices. Well, my voice will be, all the gunk will be cleared out, and I'll have a nice, smooth voice. However, if it's an afternoon session, I'm going to say, oh, give me the smooth voices first, because I can do that now. If you have me do a bunch of guttural screaming stuff, I can't do that, any of the smooth voice characters at the end. So it's about learning just kind of what works for you. Everything is kind of individualized, but in general, it's early in the morning, okay for the scratchy stuff, unless you're one of those morning people, and you wake up at 6 a.m. and you're just like, I'm ready to go. And you have this clean voice, and you're going to wind up having the exact same problem. So it's all about understanding your own vocal cords, and that just comes from experimenting and figuring out what works for you specifically.
What's your favorite role?
I never have a favorite role. It changes depending on my mood. Like for a long time it was #1 on Kids Next Door. It was also for a while Venom on Spectacular Spider-Man. He was like my favorite Marvel character, a bad guy ever. I even made like original OC, Do Not Steal, based on it when I was a kid. But also right now it's Hyda from Agretzko, because that's like the easiest role for me ever, because it's just me. Using my regular student voice and being a dork, which I am. So I'm like, yay, I can do this, no problem. But so I don't really have a favorite role, that's just consistent. So I can't really answer that question too well.
No, Joseph. Kind of must be weird, like just hearing your own voice, just voicing the voice on here.
It used to be weird hearing my own voice. Now it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I can kind of separate the character from the actor, from myself, well enough. Like, you know, that's not me, that's the character. Instead, I just sit in judgment of my performance and go, yeah, everything like that was horrible, everything about it sucked. I wish I could go in there and redo it. Here's how I would have done it. It's always that, you know, hindsight is 20/20. But people go, what are you talking about? It's my favorite show, that's my favorite performance. It's like, but it's terrible. Yes.
What's the worst voice acting experience you've had?
Who here was here for the other panel I did? Oh, okay, so some of you guys have already heard this one. I'll keep it brief. The worst one I ever did was for a Korean animated movie. The producers of it were very nice people.